Oh, that cliffhanger. What exactly happened to Kirito in the latest SAO Alicization episode? Did Kirito's brain damage get even worse? So what's up guys, Foxen here. I actually had a different SAO video planned for today, but I'm getting so many questions. What just happened to Kirito? Why is the ocean turtle being attacked? Did Asuna just show up there at the very end to help out? Before we get started, be sure to smash that thumbs up and subscribe. You also help other SAO fans find these videos. Also, just a little bit of a disclaimer. Obviously this video is going to have major spoilers here. Although at the same time, a lot of this stuff is intentionally vague, partly just since it's been a while since I read the next 4 light novels. If you don't want to know any spoiler not mentioned in this video, just go ahead and post down below. Please, just be specific about it. Tell me exactly what you want to know. If you say something like, give me all the spoilers, I really can't do anything with that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So at the end of the previous episode, you had all this gunfire, the ocean turtle being attacked. So what's going on here? It turns out that the US wants Japan's AI technology, specifically the NSA. The NSA actually contracted this assault team led by this guy named Gabriel. Ultimately, they specifically want to get their hands on Alice. The win condition for them is to capture Alice in the Underworld, then inject her into this cube container, and finally haul Alice back into the US. Keep in mind that these guys are armed and allowed to kill anyone on board the ocean turtle to achieve their goal. Next up, what exactly is going on with Kirito? What happened? If you recall, Kirito was actually hooked up to the soul translator to help heal his brain damage. At least that was the abridged version. Suddenly you have these guys raiding the ocean turtle and turning off the power. So what happened? Thankfully the power got restored in time, or should I say backup power. And also thankfully no additional brain damage to Kirito. But let's just say Kirito's floodlight did get damaged. This unfortunately does put Kirito in this coma potato state within the Underworld. A little bit later, you do see Kirito in this wheelchair most of the time, unable to speak. Kirito really only clings on to the Night Sky Blade and the shattered Blue Rose Sword. So yes, Kirito will be like this for most of the upcoming SAO anime. This really gives a spotlight to everyone else, even though technically Kirito is going to be throughout most of the anime. If you really want to know how long Kirito is in this state, post down below with the spoiler. Just be specific. So all of this time, Alice was actually the one taking care of Kirito for around half a year. They go ahead and return to the Roulette village, but actually live outside it. And I know what you're thinking, technically Alice has been sleeping with Potato Kirito for half a year. This will definitely make some SAO people scream that Kirito was cheating on Asuna. As for what exactly is going on with Alice, specifically this is Integrity Knight Alice. If you recall, young Alice was killed in the most recent episode 24. The only thing that really remains is just the knight self. Alice herself still remains with the eye patch for a good while longer. And for them returning to the Roulette village, let's just say that the Roulette people aren't too welcoming of Alice when she first shows up back there. As for the actual state of the Underworld 6 months later, Bercoli is now the leader of the Knights. Technically, Bercoli is in charge of the Human Empire. All of the Integrity Knights got told what happened, and they really aren't too happy with Kirito. A good chunk of them actually wanted to execute him. Thankfully, right now Integrity Knight Alice is serving as his personal bodyguard. As for the rest of the general Human Empire, although I'm really thinking that Quinella and the Axiom Church is in power. In other words, for them, no real difference. Next up, let me bring up Asuna. When is she going into the Underworld? You actually saw Asuna there at the end, but that was really just Kirito seeing stuff or his imagination. Asuna will go into the Underworld, just not yet. I actually did a whole video on Asuna going into the Underworld, but let me bring it back up here. Asuna will in fact go into the Underworld using the Soul Translator next to Kirito. She will be using the God Stacia account. So yes, Asuna will be helping out in the war and also helping out Kirito. Let's just say that Asuna's gonna help heal him. As to when exactly Asuna's gonna log into the Underworld, that doesn't happen until the second of the next 4 light novels. So expect Asuna around episode 8 to 10, depending on how fast they actually do it in the anime. Next up, let me mention the other 2 gods going into the Underworld. The other 2 god accounts will be taken by Leafa and Shinon. Recall all the previous Underworld art hinting at this? Both of these girls will be logging in from the Roppongi Hill back in Tokyo. Let me also just mention that Leafa's gonna make Bacon her best buddy. That's gonna be fun. Anyway, switching it back up to the ocean turtle attack. So who's gonna be the main villain now that Quinella's gone? You really have 2 main guys. First off, you have Poe, also known as the Laughing Coffin leader. So yes, Laughing Coffin is coming back, and this guy specifically has this deep obsession with Kirito. They hinted more about this in the novel, but unfortunately a lot of this stuff didn't make it into the season 1 anime. For Poe specifically, you will find out more about this guy in the upcoming SAO Alicization anime. I got a feeling they're gonna have to bring some of the stuff back. As for the second guy, you have the guy leading the assault mission, Gabriel Miller. This was actually the guy Shinon mentioned in the SAO Alicization episode 1 who won the last Bullet to Bullet tournament. This guy's actually gonna log into the Underworld using the God Vecta account. Keep in mind that this God Vecta is pretty much the ruler of the Underworld. Both of these guys pretty much just use the Dark Territory races and soldiers as their personal pawns to retrieve allies. So yes, a big Human Empire versus Dark Territory war is coming. For the Human Empire, you have around 5,000 soldiers. Then over on the other side, about 50,000. So pretty fair. But getting back to both of these antagonists, let's just see how much they flesh out Poe and Gabriel in the anime version. Both of these guys are, let's just say, off in their unique ways. So far, I personally really enjoyed the job they did with Quinella. In fact, anime Quinella in comparison feels like such a much better antagonist in comparison to these guys. But let's see what happens. And talking about Quinella, let me actually mention this. Quinella is actually dead. I know some of you were confused about the line Quinella just mentioning, "See you on the other side." This got some of you thinking that she's a human in real life that was about to log off. This is actually not the case. Quinella was born in the Underworld. Quinella was really just trying to escape into the interwebs. Unfortunately, the clown stopped that for her. Anyway, getting into the War of the Underworld. So before this whole assault thing was coming in, you actually had this barrier separating the Human Empire and Dark Territory. At the point of the 6 months time skip, this wall separating the two was about to crack. And I really hope they do flesh these guys out in the anime version. It's not really meant to be a black and white issue, especially for the various races living on the Dark Territory side. If anything, there were also some Dark Territory leaders that were actually considering peace talks with the Human Empire. Unfortunately, that option got completely killed off as soon as the god Vecta showed up. As for the actual Human Empire versus the Dark Territory, let me get into the juicy details of this. So the Human Empire at the beginning takes the advantage. This really leads Gabriel and the assault team to use their hacker to slow down the Underworld to match in real life speeds. They then actually connect the Korean, Chinese, and US servers directly into the Underworld. They use their ultra hacking skills to spam websites about this upcoming beta VR world, which really just leads into thousands and thousands of soldiers logging into the Underworld using Dark Soldier accounts, which are pretty much just free meat shields and warriors for the Dark Territory side. For the Asian player side, I actually recall them being pissed off since the Japanese were supposedly keeping the latest VR games and tech for themselves. And then the US players really just wanted to kill stuff. I got a feeling they're going to be changing some of this stuff about the Korean and Chinese players versus Japan stuff, especially since SAO is extremely popular over here in Asia. Next up, switching it over to the other side. If I recall correctly, Yui and Wrath also do the same for the Japanese players. You got everyone from Alpha Online coming over. This includes the girlfriendless Klein, Liz, Silica, and a bunch of others. I imagine it being very similar to the end of the SAO movie scene. Unfortunately, all of these guys have converted their accounts over. For anything they lost in this war, that's going to be permanently destroyed or lost. Also, these guys have no idea how intense the pain feels in the Underworld. Next up, let me briefly mention Kayaba. Kayaba will be making a brief return. Let's just say that he's not going to have that much of a major role, but his appearance does help flesh him out some more. Some of the Kayaba stuff here is really just setting up some of the stuff for the last SAO arc, SAO Unitoring. Next up, let me quickly mention something about Eugeo. Let me just re-emphasize that unfortunately Eugeo is gone forever. Eugeo's Floodlight actually got destroyed the moment his HP hit 0. However, that being said, let me just say that Eugeo's presence will be felt for the next SAO half. You could also just imagine how other characters like Tisa and Roni will take the news of Eugeo's passing. Same thing for Selka back at the Rulet Village. Next up, let me quickly mention something about the upcoming fights. So you do have the Human Territory versus the Dark Territory. In other words, the Integrity Knights versus whatever is on the other side. So for these fights, I do believe it's going to give the studio more freedom. In other words, more clashing and all that good stuff from Season 1 and 2. Although, let me also just mention that hopefully you're not watching SAO only for the fights. Cause to be honest, SAO has never been about the fights. They've always been pretty short anyway. And talking about those fights, the Human Empire has actually been getting ready by Berkoli and the other knights for half a year. You're going to see all the returning Integrity Knights, including some new ones, and also some other Academy people like Rina Senpai, and of course the junior students like Roni and Tisei. Now getting into the grand conflict, of course this is ultimately going to involve Alice. Just oversimplifying it, you do have two parties trying to get to Alice. You got the invading assault team in the main control area. Meanwhile, you have Kiko and the Rat guys in the side control area locked inside. So one battle is taking place in the Underworld. Meanwhile, the guys with guns are trying to break inside of the other area. And yes, at one point Asuna and Alice will meet inside of the Underworld. Once again, the stakes are raised and the situation becomes much more complex. I actually have to really applaud Reki for mixing so many things together and making it blend so nicely somehow. Although I just mentioned that I do have my own laundry list of stuff that I hope they do fix or change for the anime version. I may get into that stuff in another video. And then for Kirito, let me just tease you some more. Let's just say that the dual blade Black Swordsman will return. You will also see that one specific special skill of his too. You know the one. I'm still hoping they do some minor update to his look, but I'm doubting that'll happen. And then for the end of Alicization, I'm not going to be getting into this here, but if you really want to know, post down below. Just please be specific when requesting the spoilers. And in general, if you do want to know anything not mentioned here, feel free to ask down below. But anyway, more important, let me hear from you. How much more hype does this make you? Who here cannot wait 6 months? Only 6. And which SAO character are you most hyped to see upcoming again? I bet no one's gonna say Klein. Anyway, be sure to smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Just so you know, SAO videos will be replacing my SAO Alicization reviews on the weekend. Definitely don't miss my latest episode review if you haven't seen it. And check out my weekly Attack on Titan and Shield Hero videos. Hit bell notifications and I'll see you guys later.